Hi, this is Group 10's presentation on why Youngstown State University should modify the parking procedures. I'm Kim, and I'm going to start with the executive summary. Our recommendation is that the parking lots be color-coded to provide students a choice when registering for their parking permit. This is based on based on our research that there are several other universities who already implement some sort of parking procedure like this. The existing lots would remain the same under this change, and also there would be no additional cost to the university to implement. Chithra is going to give us the introduction on the research that led to our conclusion.
Okay, just a brief introduction. The proposal was, the Student Government Association of YSU presented a proposal that the YSU's parking permit system should be transitioned from the current system to a new one. So taking care of the welfare of the students at one end and taking care of the university at the other end. They feel that the implementation of this new program will benefit both the students in a way that their needs will be better addressed and understood, as well as on the end of the university, they will not have to fear about any other extra cost because it will be with it will be the new implementation program will be under the current cost that the university is undertaking in the current permit system. Background for the report will be like the Student Government Association came on this decision of proposing the transitioning of YSU parking permit system to a new one through conducting surveys with the students, current students, as well as the recent graduates of YSU. They send the surveys to those students through email, including questions like overall how satisfied are you with the current parking permit system? Are you able to find a parking spot easily in any of the parking lots you want to park? If there are any loopholes that you see in the current parking system, and if they want to say suggest any changes that can be made so that they will have the ease of parking as per their needs. And about 50% of the students responded to the survey, and overall feedback from the survey is that the current parking permit system is not well organized and structured, so it needs to be transitioned into a new one, which the association is proposing in this report. Now now I'm going to hand over to Kim to discuss on trends and further.
As part of the research for our recommendation, we looked at several other Ohio universities and schools to see what kind of permits that they offer at their schools and what choices students have. There are a variety of different options that those schools have. Some of the options are permits where you pay based upon which parking lot you want to choose, and you actually register by various lot. Each lot has the option for you to pick from. Some other ones have a color-coded system where there are different groupings of lots that are different colors, and you pay based upon which color lot that you would like to park in. And some are you just pay one rate, and you can pick whichever lot you show up to that's open, that's available to students. In all cases, when we checked several different universities and colleges, we found that they all offered some sort of choice to the students regarding where they wanted to park. Next, Steve is going to walk us through what the current procedures are at Youngstown State for the current parking.
Thank you, Kim. Currently, through YSU's campus parking services, parking spaces on campus are designated in several categories based upon faculty, students, and staff. Currently, lots that are marked with an F are for faculty only until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, depends on where they're located. After 4:30 or 5 o'clock, they'll become any permit parking. Lots and decks that are marked with an M are for students and staff and faculty at any time, except for lots that are labeled F1 are for faculty only. Students who purchase parking passes are issued a card to access any of these parking facilities, where the responsibility for finding a parking space is rests with the vehicle operator. Currently, each semester the parking pass is $115 per student, and that's for the fall or the spring. In the summer, it's $58, and if you take less than 6 credit hours, currently it's also $58, which entitles them to receive a parking pass at no additional charge. Basically, that's the review of the parking procedures that are currently in place at YSU. They do have the possibility for violations if you're not parking in the correct facility like you're supposed to, and the fines can range from $25 to $100 depending on the severity. Next, I'll be handing it off to Ryan. So here's Ryan.
So I'm going to be talking about the negative implications for this proposal. And anytime you go to try to implement a new system or change anything, there's going to be some backlash and a little bit of problems associated with it. But so one of these problems we expect to see is students are going to lose the ability to park in the spaces they can currently park in, and that's going to lead to a little bit of anger within the student body. And another negative implication would be students may not be able to park in their assigned lot, and if they choose to not park in their assigned lot, there's a chance they'll be ticketed. And again, this is going to cause a couple angry students because they're not choosing to follow the new rules. But even with these negative implications, we still feel it's going to be in the best interest of our students and the student body to make this change. Next, I'm going to be talking about the projections for this current proposal, and changing the current parking lot to assigned lots. We feel that the hectic parking situation is going to improve a bit, and we feel students are going to be overall more pleased with the changes than they're going to be upset with the changes. And students are going to be able to park in their assigned lots and always be able to come back to their own spot. And by them doing that, we feel they're going to be a little bit happier than kind of driving, pulling into a lot, hoping they're going to find a spot. And they could do that a couple times before they find a spot, and that can frustrate people. And another kind of like side thing that this would cause would be the university would gain a little bit more revenue, because these people parking in lots that they aren't assigned to, they're going to be ticketed, and that's going to give them a little more money. And while it's not good for the student interest, it's going to be good giving the university a little more money where they can use that somewhere else. And feel once everybody acclimates to the changes, we believe this will be very beneficial to the university, and it's going to improve the overall happiness of all the students. So next I'm going to hand it off to Kelly, and she's going to talk about recommendations a little bit.
Okay, so as Ryan had mentioned, I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into the recommendations and the modifications that should be made to our current parking procedures. So as you might have gathered, we suggest going with a color-coordinated permit, meaning that the hanger will be the color that the student chooses to park in, and that will be matched to the different lots, which will be showed to you on the next slide. And each color permit has a few different lots they will be able to park in, meaning section is full. They still have numerous other lots that they can park in. And another negative implication is that there is a limited quantity of permits per color, because they can only do so many permits as there are parking spots per that color. That means there has to be a certain way of issuing those parking spots. So we feel that the best way to do that is by seniority, meaning how they register. So for instance, graduate students, then seniors, juniors, sophomore, freshmen. And also a cool feature that we could do with that is offering wait lists, meaning that if a student is blocked out of the certain color lot that they want, they can be put on a list expressing their interest in that lot. So if someone were to either not come back that next semester or if a spot were to open up, they could potentially still receive a parking spot in the color lot that they want. So this graphic that is on our PowerPoint slide, if you can refer to that, it shows that we have 5 different colors of parking permits. Red, a red tier, a yellow tier, a blue tier, and then we also have resident parking, which is denoted with the black stars, and faculty parking, which is denoted with the purple stars. And as you notice, there are multiple different colors. There's multiple different ones of each color. So as mentioned, anybody with a red parking permit can park at any red lot, and so on and so forth. So as far as permit selection and pricing goes, as mentioned, it will be a seniority ranked system, meaning that graduates will have the first choice of parking spots, then will seniors or anyone who has over 94 credit hours, then juniors who have 61 to 93 credit hours, sophomores who have 31 to 62 credit hours, and freshmen who have 0. And we have decided amongst all permits, meaning that spring and fall permits will still cost $115 per semester. The summer semester still will be $58, and the students with less than 6 credit hours will still pay $58. So we're keeping everything the same as far as that goes. And as far as policy changes and things like that are concerned, the wait list that I mentioned is something that will need to be put into place, and that will be handled through registration, because it's assuming that the student will register for parking at the same time after they select their courses that they will be taking for the next semester. Also, we thought that it could be a cool idea, instead of sending out the plastic scan cards that are attached to the hangers like the college normally does, we could utilize the student ID cards and upload the students' parking information to that, so they could just scan their ID in the parking Scantron, and they would be able to access lots that way. And we would also, in a policy change that we would actually keep the same, is that we would keep that during the weekend and after 4:30 p.m. on weekends, all faculty lots, excluding the F1 lot, would become available to all color permits, but the M lots and the R lots will still require that you have that color permit. And I'm also going to be concluding our presentation. So just as a wrap-up, we decided that it would be a good idea to implement a color-coded permit parking system, because it would address the student concerns that were discovered during the survey that we conducted. The survey demonstrated that they want to see an improvement in the organization of campus parking, and we believe that our recommendation will help do that. Thank you for your attention.